I'm just trying to decide if I'm comfortable even talking about that.
This one's wife. Jam Wars. She's furious. It sounds like it might be the title for some bizarre movie, but in actual fact, according to a report from skynews.com.au, yes, our straight-talking antediluvian cousins, inform us that this one's wife is furious. And apparently, Prince Harry is holding this one's wife back from confronting King Charles over latest Highgrove launch. That title put me in mind of a pair of pissed-up wannabe warriors in a Weatherspoon somewhere, where one is arguing with the other, and the supposed hard man saying to his mate, hold me back, I'm going to hit him. When in actual fact, of course, he's no real desire to get involved in a fight. He just wants to make himself look like a tough guy. Can you imagine this one's wife there saying, hold me, Harry, or I might slap King Charles? And Charles is there looking bemused, ready to unleash Camilla to dropkick this one's wife right in the kisser. Well, the reporter explains, a furious this one's wife reportedly wants to confront King Charles over his latest Highgrove launch, seemingly overshadowing the Duchess's own preserves. But Prince Harry is holding her back from a grisly confrontation. The Duchess of Sussex, 42, was earlier this year ridiculed as pretentious for soft launching a line of strawberry jams as the first product in her new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard Retirement Homes. A source on Friday told No Idea her jam jars, hand-numbered 1 through 50, have been overshadowed by the King's latest product, organic Highgrove Royal Estate honey. The source said, as far as this one's wife is concerned, it is no coincidence Charles's authorization for the release of his $50 honey coincided with the launch of her jam, and she is furious about it. She is trying to establish herself as a lifestyle mogul, but now she's competing with a royal rival, they said. The source said that the Duchess is convinced Charles also recently launched Highgrove Splash, a new men's cologne, in a deliberate attempt to curb her success with a double offering. She had no idea about this, and now suddenly as she sees it, there's a glut of his products on the market. Now, this is an excellent example of the self-absorbed, self-centered nature of the narcissist. Charles is operating a process of no contact in relation to this one's wife. He asserts control over her by having nothing to do with her. Periodically, she'll pop up on his radar. Maybe a member of the family talks about the American. Perhaps he sees a news item in relation to her. Perhaps he finds a dildo underneath the bed and thinks, one of hers that's been left over. Either way, that brings this one's wife up onto the radar, and in the circumstances, he rejects her by simply thinking, good that we don't have anything more to do with her. Stupid, irritating tungsten, be done with her. And that's it. He, as the King of England, with his own busy schedule, dealing with treatment for cancer, is not going to think to himself, do you know what? Do you know what'll really piss this one's wife off? If I launch my honey and Highgrove Splash, that'll really get to her. It'll overshadow her shitty jam. He doesn't consider that in the slightest. Why? She's not important enough. She probably isn't even on the radar when he considers that. Thirdly, it's probably somebody else that decides the launch of those products and not him. He will have delegated product creation, product management to somebody else. But this is the grandiosity of this one's wife. And you will find of many narcissists that they think, as a combination of paranoia and grandiosity, that certain activities are directed precisely at them. For instance, there's a narcissist that contacted me who believed that my recent series of conversations was deliberately directed at them to annoy them. That individual is a nobody to me. That individual clearly thinks that they're so important that I would purposefully go about creating a new series, organising to speak to people, go through speaking to those people, record and create the videos and launch them purely to get at that person. That self-absorbed delusional thinking is typical of certain narcissists that believe the world revolves around them. I don't give a rat's ass about that particular individual, and it is infrequently the case that there are those that think that a video is directed at them. They think that I've specifically launched it on that day, when in actual fact the videos that I create are about what's current and topical in the news, and in some instances it's a topic that I've selected in relation to narcissism because I've selected it and has nothing whatsoever to do with certain members of my audience. But they, being self-absorbed, think it's all about them. And in the same way with this one's wife, she believes that it's all about her. That she thinks that King Charles is so bothered by her presence, that she's so important, that she's so all-conquering, that he would be moved to do a double launch of products in order to cock a snook at her. As I explained, she won't have even entered his head. But her level of self-absorption and believing that the universe revolves around her causes her to believe that that's the case. And thus, she makes a big song and dance about it, because the notion that this is what has been done threatens her need for control, with the consequence that she then has it reported that she is one step away from contacting him. The article continues by explaining that she's one step away from calling Charles, direct assertion of control, about the clash, but Prince Harry is holding her back. This one's wife reportedly has long-term plans to rival her father-in-law's successful brand and develop her own men's grooming range. First I've heard of that. Sky News presenter Gabriella Power on Thursday launched a scathing attack on this one's wife, saying Charles's product launches were not actually about her, correct, but why not take it as an excuse to make it so, correct. Power to her for trying to get a brand up and running that isn't about making money for rubbishing the royal family. It comes as the king has long sold organic food since he created Duchy Originals 34 years ago in 1990. And this one's wife's social media campaign in March boosted the sales of the monarch's long-standing products by accident. In a major business blunder, the mother of two sent 10 of her jars to influencers and socialites in her celebrity-studded circle, which deviated great business to the king's venture. Royal commentator Richard Eden said this one's wife's publicity stunt encouraged royalists to purchase the king's jam instead, and they all sold out. According to Tom Quinn, it's him again, this one's wife was in tears when the brand launched and her new jam was widely marked for being expensive and nothing special. He said she cannot understand the public backlash from her ventures. She says she cannot understand why people don't admire her work. Once again, the self-absorbed nature of this one's wife comes to prominence where she thinks that King Charles could really be bothered to try and overshadow her. Of course, she's projecting, it's the type of thing that she would do, but King Charles isn't bothered for the reasons that I have already explained. But it is an excellent example of how her perception that King Charles is keeping an eye on what she's doing has deliberately sought to overshadow her. This is a complete fabrication by her narcissism, which then causes her sense of control to be threatened, resulting in the ignition of fury and the fact that she's threatening to contact Charles and have it out with him, and apparently Harry is having to hold her back. It's entirely conceivable, because that's the paranoia and grandiosity that this one's wife exhibits. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.